Kyle and Ben, congratulations. You guys are moving forward into round 3. Only the man next to you stands between you, the title of Forge and Fire champion, and that coveted check for $10,000. In round 3, we're gonna send you guys back home to recreate an iconic weapon from history. That weapon is the Vajra Mushi.
Wow. Originating in India, the Vajra Mushi is an edged knuckle duster. The unique design features sharpened blades on every side of the handle, making it a specialty weapon only wielded by well-trained Indian warriors. The sharp edges on all sides provided the user with a wide range of lethal attacks, from deadly stabs and slashes to devastating punches. A traditional Indian martial art where the weapon is tied to the fists of wrestlers has lineage dating back to the Middle Ages, and is still practiced today by professional wrestlers in India using non-lethal knuckle dusters.
I don't even know what to say. The closest thing I've seen to that is probably a pair of brass knuckles.
We're gonna send you guys home for 4 days, and when you guys come back, I wanna see 2 blades worth at least $10,000 a piece. So do your absolute best work, and good luck. We'll see you in 4 days.
Awesome. Good luck, man.
Good luck.
I feel good to be back home here in Bellows Falls, Vermont, and we're going to make the Vajra Mushi. I've never made a Vajra Mushi or anything close to it, so I decided to use 1084 carbon steel because it's something I'm more familiar with. I think the most difficult part of the challenge will be making the handle, something that I'm definitely going to have to pay a lot of attention to.
The 2 smaller blades are basically the same. One's a little longer than the other, and then the other blade's just a big rectangle.
5 hours into it, I feel pretty good.
1 more soak in the forge, and then I'll quench them.
I got all the forging out of the way, so I'm feeling good. End of day 1, I'm really glad I got the heat treat done.
Looks good.
Day 2, I'm a little tired this morning, but I feel great, ready to get this show on the road. I decided that I'm gonna go with a torch heat treatment because the handle doesn't need to be hard. I just need the blades hard and the knuckle blade hard. So I did 1, and I'm scared I'm gonna crack it in half because right after the quench, it is brittle. So any little shock or hit could cause catastrophic cracking. Luckily, I don't see any cracks, so I think the quench went well. That's gonna have to do.
It's beginning of day 2, and I can't wait to get started. For the handle, I'm gonna go with copper. It's moving a lot better than I thought it was going to. I want to pay really close attention to detail. I want to make a $10,000 knife. Today, I'm able to remove 3 pounds off a 5-pound chunk of copper, and now I've got a nice workable piece. Tomorrow, I'd like to get the handle all finished up and the blades fitted on. That's basically it.
It's day 4, ready to get this thing done. So I just got done doing the profiling on my Vajra Mushi. Feels pretty good. I'm gonna start doing fit up on the handle. I'm feeling great. At the end of the day, I used every minute that I had. There's definitely some finishing touches that I didn't get to that I wish I had, mainly the handle. I'm hoping that there's not, major hot spots around the knuckles or anything like that. It can look like crap, but as long as it feels comfortable in your hand, that's fine. I feel good. I mean, I definitely did the best that I could.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the kill test. To find out what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, I will take your weapon to deliver multiple lethal blows on this ballistics dummy. Kyle, you're up first. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
All right, Kyle, let's talk about your weapon here. I was worried about the finger welds that you had there, that they would be an issue, especially when I'm punching. No issues there. I like the fact that as it gets slippery, it gave me a very good grip. Overall, it is a beautiful piece, and your weapon will kill.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Ben, your turn, sir. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. All right, Ben, let's talk about your weapon here. The edges are very sharp, but there are some sharp edges that you have in here. Every movement started to give me a little bruise and cut off some skin right there. But in terms of what this weapon will do, it will kill
Thanks, Doug.
my hand.
All right, bladesmiths, welcome to the strength test. To test the strength and durability of your Vajra mushtis, as well as their overall construction, I'll be stabbing and punching into this sheet metal and chain. Kyle, you're up first. You ready for this?
Yep.
All right, Kyle. In this strength test, your two long blades held up great. The center blade here took some chipping on that chain. I'm looking at the grain in there, and it's pretty big. I would have liked to have seen that refined. But in general, these two blades held up well. Nice job.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben.
All right, Ben, you're up. You ready for this?
Sure am.
All right, Ben. Well, the first thing I feel when I pick this weapon up is its sheer mass. I mean, it's a heavy, heavy weapon. That did you some justice in the strength test. The only thing I could see is a little bit of glinting on the lower blade, but the middle blade, it took a pretty major deflection right here. It kind of cracked one more little hit here, and that would just come off. The main thing working against you on this blade is the rough inner surface. I couldn't really find a real comfortable way of getting this finger out of harm's way. But after the strength test is all in one piece, nice job.
Thank you.
All right, bladesmiths, we know your weapons can heal, and we know they are strong. Now it's time to find out just how sharp they are. To find out, we'll take your weapons and deliver some stabs and slices on these spice bags. Kyle, you're up first. You ready for this?
Yep.
Let's do this. All right, Kyle, let's talk about your weapon. It is comfortable. It's a good fit on my hand. It's got a pointy enough tip over there, but with that one piece where you're missing some edges, it was more of a jagged cut. When it came to stabbing and slashing on both weapons on each end, it'll cut. Good job.
Thank you, Doug.
Ben, your turn, sir. You ready?
Ready, let's go.
Let's do it. All right, Ben, let's talk about your weapon. The weight that you have here back up the cut because you have very sharp edges and the cuts are very deep. But my hand, when I'm making impact, still rubs on the inside of your handle. But other than that, sir, your beast, it will cut.
Thanks, Doug.
All right, guys, you guys both came through with unbelievable pieces of work, verging on art, and they performed almost equally on all the tests. Unfortunately, we can only send one of you guys home with the title of Forged Fire Champion and a check for $10,000. And our champion today is Kyle. Congratulations. Ben, unfortunately, you're not walking home the champion today. Doug's going to tell you why.
Ben, I commend you on building a very unique weapon, but only your handle affected both of us when we were testing it. And for that reason, we're sending you home.
Totally understand.
Ben, you obviously showed you have what it takes to be in the Forge and to compete with some of the best. But unfortunately, the time has come and I have to ask you to leave the Forge floor.
Thank you, guys. This was awesome, for sure. Kyle, amazing job. Honestly, I feel great. I mean, it was an amazing experience. I'm super happy for Kyle. I had a feeling that handle was gonna get me, but I busted my butt and honestly did the best that I could, so I don't have any regrets.
Well, Kyle, congratulations. You'll be leaving here with the title, Forge and Fire champion, and a check for $10,000. Congratulations.
Thank you. My wife's gonna be super pumped when I tell her that I'm the next Forge and Fire champion.
What are you gonna do with that cash, man?
My wife and I are probably gonna use it for a down payment on a house.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Nice.
Cool. 18 months ago, I would have never imagined being here today. Hell yeah, I'm Forged and Fire champion.
Well, gentlemen, congratulations. The two of you have succeeded. You are both moving forward into the third and final round of our Double Trouble competition. In this last round, we're going to be sending you back to your home forges, but we're not going to be asking you to build one iconic weapon from history. We're going to ask you to make two. You will be building these. A pair of Ginunting swords.
As one of the weapons issued to the Philippine Military Special Forces units, the Ginunting swords have proven to be effective and deadly weapons. The word Ginunting translates to scissors, and the inward curve of the blade's design allows for deeper cuts while also proving the user with a thin, lightweight weapon. When paired together as a sword and dagger, the longer sword serves as an offensive long-range weapon, while the shorter sword serves to be defensive post-mortar weapon. The intimidating dual swords are built for brutal combat as well as navigating thick jungle terrain.
Well, gentlemen, you'll both have 4 days to build your pair of Ginuntings. One of you is going to come back here and leave $10,000 richer, carrying the title of Forge and Fire champion. We will see you in 4 days. Good luck.
My name's Chris O'Brien. I am 43 years old. Ever since I was little, I loved creating things. I loved making things. I'm actually an art major, and when I ran across bladesmithing, I was just like, that's something I need to try. I'm gonna finish forging out this blade, and then I'm going to forge up another billet and do the second blade, and then that way I can heat treat at the same time with both blades. We're almost there. All right, we're about ready to hit it. That's the sound you want to hear right there. I decide I'm going to try a burn through. Getting the tip just a little hot. There, that looks good. Building these two swords did slow me down a little bit. I'm still on track to be able to finish with pretty good time. Looking pretty good. I like it. I like it. All I have left to do is sharpen the little blade and it'll be all done.
My name is Brian Salisbury. I'm 60 years old. The reason I got into bladesmithing was I wanted a very particular knife for my work. I work for the telephone company, so I made it, and finally I just said, oh, the heck with it. I'll start making knives. It keeps me busy and out of my wife's hair. Okay, I got them forged out. The curves look good. I got my tangs in. I've got to get these things in the oil, and that way I know what I'm up against tomorrow. There it is. She's hard under there. So, second one going in. All right, let's see if she skates. Please, 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 please. Not grabbing anywhere. Very nice. Nice. Now I'm going to drill the holes in them. We've got to finish up the last handle, and I am done. Very similar look to them. Very happy. I got to use these things. Yeah, that works.
All right, bladesmiths, welcome to the keel test. To find out how lethal your weapons are, I'm going to take your weapons and deliver some slashes and thrusts on this big carcass. Brian, you're up first. You ready for this?
Tear it up, you mad dog.
I will.
Nice.
All right, Brian, let's talk about your Ginuntings here. First off, for Ginuntings, they're a little bit on the heavier side, but that lends itself to cut deep into the pig carcass. Your handle construction is smooth, and that gives me good retention. And overall, sir, your Ginuntings You will kill.
Nice.
All right, Chris, your turn. So you ready for this?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. All right, Chris, let's talk about your doing things here. First up, what I like about your weapon here is the balance. It's nicely distributed. The edges you have here are sharp. As you can see, pretty much cut a lot of this pig up. Overall, sir, your things, you will kill.
Awesome.
All right, gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time for the strength test, the bamboo chop. To test the strength and durability of your blades, I'll be taking your genunting and chopping into our bamboo target here. Now remember, this isn't about what your genuntings do to that target, but what that target can do to your genunting. Brian, you're up first. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
You ain't got nothing else to do this afternoon. All right, Brian, first off, they've got some heft to them, but they don't feel bad. They actually swing pretty good. Your blade picked up just a teeniest roll. And then on the smaller of the two blades, there's again, just the smallest deflection. Other than that, they held up beautifully. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Chris, you ready to play?
Sure.
All right, Chris, right off, your handle design for me is just about perfect. As far as swinging these things, man, they're super light. The balance is really nice on these. I don't feel anything on your edge when I run my fingernail up this thing. No deflections, no rolls. So good job.
Thank you.
All right, bladesmiths, we know your blades can kill and we know they're strong. Now it's time to find out just how sharp your blades are. This is a sharpness test, the animal hide slice. Now to find out how sharp your weapons are, I'm gonna take your genuntings and I'm gonna thrust and slash across this animal hide. Brian, you're up first. You ready for this?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do this. All right, Brian, the edges you have here are sharp. Every cut over there is quite clean, no jagged edges, and overall, sir, your weapon, it will cut.
Thank you, sir.
Chris, your turn, so you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do this. All right, Chris, first up, the grinds that you have here are perfect for this kind of cut because there is no resistance. Overall, sir, your genuntings, it'll cut.
Thank you.
Well, gentlemen, we had 3 tests. We got 2 Smiths, but we can only have 1 winner. You guys both performed very well, but as you know, only one of you can go home the title of Forge and Fire champion and a check for $10,000. The judges have made the decision, and today's Forge and Fire champion is Chris. Congratulations. Brian, unfortunately, your blade just didn't make the cut. Dave Baker's going to tell you why.
Brian, I think I can speak for all of us when I say that competitions like this are the ones we love to see, where smiths bring back weapons that are so closely matched. This came down to the smallest things. Chris's blade was a little bit sharper than yours. It didn't take any damage. You did a great job. It's a beautiful blade.
Thank you.
Well, Brian, you're clearly a very talented smith, and your work speaks for itself on that. But unfortunately, your time here has ended. I'm gonna have to ask you to please step off the forge floor.
I put forth my best effort, but it is what it is. You can't let it eat you up too bad. I wouldn't do a damn thing differently. I got matched up against an absolutely excellent bladesmith. This time he came out on top. We go again, he just might not.
Chris, congratulations. You are today's Forged and Fire champion. You got yourself a check for $10,000.
My blades performed very well. I thought it would be awesome for my kids, just to prove to them that if you put yourself out there and put the work in, you can accomplish what you're after. My name is Chris O'Brien, and I am the Forged and Fire champion.
Josh, Chad, congratulations. All you need to do now is defeat the man standing next to you in our final round of competition, in which we send you back to your home forges for 5 days to recreate an iconic weapon from history. A pair of Bog-Knok. Wow. Meaning tiger's claw, the Bog-Knok was a ruthless weapon originating from India. While concealed in the hand, it could serve up surprise attacks, resulting in deep gashes that pierced through both skin and muscle. This variation was called a Bichois Bog-Knok and included a lethal blade that was made to resemble the sting of a scorpion. This design made it a triple threat where it could either thrust, slash, or claw its way into an opponent. One of the most well-known uses of the weapon is recounted in the history of the Maratha Empire, when Emperor Shivaji secretly wore a Bog-Knok and fatally disemboweled his enemy. Good luck, bladesmiths. We'll see you in 5 days.
Good luck.
Good luck.
My name is Josh Prince. I started forging because my younger son wanted me to forge him a weapon for his action figure. So I forged a miniature sword for him. Since then, I've moved on to real blades. I plan to start working on the claws, which is going to be a challenge. I got to work on each one individually. I have to keep them the same the entire time. Now that I've got the claws in, the next step is heat treat. A lot of things can go wrong. I can overshoot the temperature and create problems in the steel, especially at the tip of the blade. Overheating would make it easier to break. If it cracks or warps, I start over again. Oh, it looks like it took a warp. I hope I'm wrong, because I don't have time to start over from zero. Maybe not. It's pretty straight. I don't know if I was seeing things or what. When I quenched the second blade, just beautiful. I can't believe it. I got both these blades through heat treat. They look pretty good. The rest of it is just fine detail work. The thing I'm most proud of are the design elements that I put into the blade. I love the forged black handle and the stark contrast between the handle and the blade. The tiger eye stones really bring the whole thing together as a tiger claw. There's a little scorpion stinger at the back, too.
My name's Chad Atfield, and I'm a full-time iron worker. Being an iron worker really helps me in the forge because we know a bunch of types of steel. We work with torches, we work with hand tools all the time. So I am gonna win. I want a nice bold pattern, and hopefully at the end of the day, I have the billets done. That turned out beautiful. I'm liking it, claws are even. It's time to get ready for heat treat. There's 5 blades that I have to heat treat on one blade. So it's very difficult. That is a very straight blade. Time for the second one. I'm liking it. It looks really nice. I'm gonna put on the leather wrap for the handles to give it a little extra grip and to conceal the welds that I put on there. I'll test it and see if I like it. I think it'll be sufficient for stabbing. It can take a lot of abuse and also has a sharp edge. That's sharp. I feel really confident about these blades. I can't wait to see them being tested.
Bladesmiths, to see what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, we'll take your Bog-Knok and deliver multiple slashes and thrusts and claw at this big carcass. Josh, you're up first. You ready for this?
So ready.
To be my tiger claw today, please welcome back my brother, RJ Markida. All right, Josh. First up, it's comfortable. My 3 fingers in the middle allow me to grasp on to the claws easily and not feel that it's gonna impede my movement with the hand. The clawing is very deep. Your slashes cut deep into this big carcass. Overall, your Bog-Knok will kill. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Chad, your turn. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, Chad. First up, the handle, it's on the thinner side. There's a little bit of movement there. But the positions where you have the claw is secure. It's safe. They're razor sharp. On the lacerations there, the slicing, it cuts deeply. Overall, your weapon will kill.
Thank you.
Well, RJ, I can see that your fighting skills have not changed since we were kids. You still scratch like a girl. Cat claws. Thank you very much. I hope you had a lot of fun. Next up is the strength test. Ben?
Bladesmiths, to test the strength and durability of your Bog-Knok, I'm going to be clawing and stabbing away at these logs. Remember, this test is all about what happens to your blades, not what happens to the log. Josh, you're up first. You ready?
I'm ready.
Well, Josh, the claws held up very well. There's no mark on them that they've ever even seen a tree. But I lost your tips.
Yep.
The first one went as I started to pry, but the second tip, it cracked as soon as I stabbed in. I like the feeling of these in my hands. They were comfortable to wield, but I can't deny that they're not there anymore. Chad, you're up next. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Well, Chad, you lost one of your tips. The other one was scaring me, but it's in one piece. It held up well. I like that you did Damascus. I like the pattern of it. It's really pretty. Overall, well done.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, to test the sharpness of your blades, I'll be clawing and slashing at our Sandman here. Unlike the strength test, this is all about what your weapons do to this target. Josh, you're up first. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, Josh, these are sharp. You can see these cuts, just clean rakes across the chest. No tearing. I actually like that hook you got. These are definitely cutters. Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, Chad, you're up. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, Chad, these are amazingly sharp. Each one of those cuts is beautiful and clean. They're very light, very fast. I think you did a beautiful job. These are very nice weapons.
Thank you.
Bladesmiths, what started as a round one nuts and bolts challenge came down to these Bog-Knok. Both of you have put in an incredible amount of work. Unfortunately, in this arena of competition, there can only be one Forged in Fire champion. Chad, congratulations. You are a new Forged in Fire champion. Good job. Josh, unfortunately, your Bog-Knok did not make the cut. Please surrender your weapons.
I'm a little discouraged, a little disappointed, but I'll bounce back.
Chad, congratulations. You are the new Forged in Fire champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for how much?
10,000.
That's right, $10,000. Good job. Please present your weapons to the judges.
I'm feeling really good right now. That's lost for words. Being Forged in Fire champion was surreal. I was able to show my best, and it makes me feel really proud.
Thomas, Bill, gentlemen, congratulations. You have made it forward into the third and final round of our first knife fight. Now it's down to the two of you. You guys are gonna battle it out in this forge for 6 hours. This is gonna ultimately end with one of you leaving here with the title of Forged in Fire champion, carrying a check for $10,000. In this final 6-hour round, we want you to build this. This very wicked fighter was made by none other than Forged in Fire super champion Colin Sage. Woo! We want you to recreate Colin's blade as closely as possible. Your time starts now.
I'm Bill Piles. I'm from Oxford, Ohio. Been bladesmithing for about 4 years now. My wife supports this hobby, but does refer to herself as a forge widow. It's because I've been spending a lot of time in the forge practicing for this competition. As long as I get to hear Doug Markitis say it will kill, I'm totally good. First plan of action is to weld up 2 separate billets of the Damascus steel. These forge welds on these Damascus billets go perfect piece of cake. I'm getting the Damascus drawn out. I think really I'm ahead of the clock. Bingo! With the 2 billets, they've got to be drawn out to the same length and the same width as your ADCR V2.
Bill's setting the welds on his Damascus sand my billet now.
I'm very happy with the welds. They seem to be sticking together very well. Coming through. Now I have to turn it into a knife. I'm kind of getting the shape I want, not the perfect shape that I need to recreate. Freaking ugly. But it's drawing out well. I'm getting the proper length I need. I've got the proper width I need. I start really feeling comfortable with it. I need to quench this thing. Into the oil, feels fine. If it's a perfect world, you quench your blade, comes out beautifully straight. In my world, mine comes out looking like some type of pasta. I have to get the warp out of it. I break it.
Man, look at the torque that Bill's putting on his blade.
I do not get all the warp out, but I don't have time to even try to grind it out. I am not aiming for pretty at this point. I'm just aiming for done. My next step is to get the handle fit up. Now we're good. Next, I decided to go with a piece of brass for the pommel.
So he's getting pretty close to having a fully formed Colin blade.
The pommel's the easiest part, so Bill should be on the home stretch here.
Get everything all epoxied up, start cranking the nut down.
Oh, and it snapped off. Oh, no.
I am in absolute panic mode. How am I gonna do this?
What are the fixes right now?
Weld another piece on, just don't quench it in water.
Everything for the handle's totally reusable. Go back over, weld a new piece of all thread. Let it cool this time.
Bill got the weld done and bypassed the water bucket this time.
Nice.
Start putting that nut on. Oh my God, I think that'll work. I've got the base of a handle together. I just have to shape it now.
My name's Thomas Franklin. I'm 34 years old. I've been smithing for 3 years. I really enjoy cooking, so I always had kind of a thing for chef's knives. And then my wife was like, hey, why don't you try to make a few? And here we are. I see my steel's hot, so I gotta go set my welds. Starting over in this challenge would be the worst catastrophic event to happen. Luckily, my welds look good, and I'm moving forward with the sand mine construction. Now my sand mine billet is welded together. I can start profiling the shape. It's a real difficult build because you gotta leave enough mass to spread the tip out. I start to feel my arms get tense. My fingers are starting to cramp. I've never worked so hard on a blade before in my life.
But he's got to get more aggressive on Big Blue. You got to let that hammer do the work.
Just go pedal to the metal, bud.
I may be exhausted, but I have to keep telling myself, don't give up, just keep going. I gotta get it quenched now, and I gotta move on to other things. The quench is the critical step in the blade making process. It can make or break you.
Oh, there you go.
Quench you now.
Go for it.
Especially sand mine. Sand mine can delaminate and pop apart. So I've got all these bad thoughts in my head about what's gonna happen in the quench. I pulled out of the oil and everything looks straight. I don't see anything critical going wrong. It's just a great feeling of relief that I can move on to the next step.
Thomas is drilling a hole now in that handle material.
I don't know exactly what he chose, but there's plenty of woods that'll hold up to almost anything you can throw at him with a handle.
So the clock's ticking. I don't have a sharpened edge on this blade, and I still don't even have the handle on. I chose a block on micarta because it's durable. You can't crack it. You gotta be kidding me. But now it's taking me forever to broach this hole out. Things just aren't going my way.
Well, 15 minutes left on the clock. Thomas still has to fully assemble his blade, get his pommel attached, and then get an edge on his blade and shape the handle.
This is panic time.
Finally get it fit close enough to put the pommel on.
5 minutes left, gentlemen.
Oh.
Run, 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 run.
Holy cow, this is not looking good for Thomas.
I run into the grinder and start putting on a cutting edge. Everything's going crazy, time's flying by. I know I've got to sharpen my dagger too. I'm worried I'm not going to finish in time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, turn off your machine. This round of the knife fight is over.
At the end of the day, it's done. It's not pretty, but it's done.
Well, bladesmiths, it's time to take your weapons and pick a fight. This is the dynamic kill test. To find out how lethal and how well constructed your weapons are, I'm gonna take your weapons and deliver some slashes and thrusts on this ballistics dummy and kendo sticks. Bill, you're up first. You ready?
I guess I have to be.
All right, let's do this.
I'm really nervous about how things are gonna test out.
All right, Bill, let's talk about your weapons. First up, let's talk about your push dagger right here. I really like it. The handle you have is just the right size so that I can wrap my hand around it. And when I'm thrusting and slashing, it is a sharp blade because it thrusts nicely and easily onto this ballistics dummy. There's no nicks, no rolls on your edges. Good job. Now let's talk about your beast here. This is a heavy weapon. Having your handle have no contours over here, it was really hard to control this beast when I'm swinging with it. It's a great chopper, but every time I'm pulling back, this thing just wants to leave my hand. But overall, sir, your weapon, it will kill.
Thank you.
Thomas, your turn. So you ready?
Might as well be.
Let's do this.
I'm relieved that it's over, but I really just wish I had more time or made some changes along the way. I'm hoping that it holds.
So many hot spots, it's already digging into my hand, especially here, look. Right, Thomas, your handle is so unfinished, it's very hard to hold on to. And the minute I grab onto it, there are sharp edges all over. The guard, especially the spacers that you have here, the minute I grab onto that, it's already digging into my hand. If I start swinging this, I'm gonna tear my hand apart. And because of that, I cannot test your blade fairly against your opponents.
I understand.
Well, Thomas, unfortunately, due to the unfinished nature of your handle and the inability to test it fairly against Bill's, our judges have issued a vote of no confidence. For that reason, your time in this forge has ended. I'm gonna have to ask you to please step off the forge floor.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Thomas.
Man.
Nice one.
Well, Bill, you just won the first ever Forged and Fire knife fight, man. You got a check for $10,000. Congratulations.
Yes. Holy crap. I just won Forged in Fire. I can't believe it.
How you feeling?
Hate to win this way, but it's great. Dream come true. I had a blast, even though it was one of the most stressful things I've ever done. Would I do it again? Maybe.